Hi, everyone.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
Good evening, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
I'm just admitting everyone. I'm just trying to admit everyone quick. Yep, done. Close. Yeah, where we are here. Okay, let me see. Marky, how's it?
Hi, Rob. How are you doing?
How are you? I'm just trying to put myself on the picture. Yeah, here I am. I'm here. Yeah, I'm with you all. Baruch Hashem. How are you all doing? How's everyone? Everyone well?
Good,
Thank
Duncan. Yep.
Baruch Hashem. Dr. Liz, how are you?
Hello, Rob. How are you? It's good to see you. Rob.
It's so nice to see you all.
Here's my
Oh,
young
hi.
man.
At long last, I
How are
see you.
you?
Always see you, but I never see your picture. I always see that you're there. Baruch Hashem, we see you. It's good to see you all. It's so nice to see you
Shalom,
all.
shalom.
Bracha uvracha.
Cool talk,
Listen,
Rob.
guys, I see that Hilton with us. Hilton, I know that it's your side. It's the side of your father. Would you mind giving me his
It
name?
must be on top here. No. I muted the thing. No,
Okay.
I don't know. No, I didn't want.
Mute everyone. Okay, I'm muting everyone. Take me a second. Mute all. Everyone is muted, and בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. השיעור יהיה לעילוי נשמת אסתר קדן בת קציה, מרדכי בן רחמה, הרב אברהם חיים בן אליעזר יעקב, תמר בת זהבה, רחל בת מלכה סולטנה, רבקה לאה בת דוד, אסתר בת משה הלוי ויהושע בן סרח. נשמתם תהיה צרורה בצור החיים. Okay, so the subject of the shiur today, Rabotai, as I mentioned on Thursday, last Thursday I mentioned that I'm going to make the shiur about the Korban Pesach. And Be'ezrat Hashem today, we'll try to understand what is mean Korban Pesach. Okay, so also I would like to dedicate the shiur in health of Liora Bat Miriam, Blum Bat Miriam, Harav Avraham ben Marina, Harav Shlomo Yehuda ben Dalia, Harav Moshe ben Devorah, Dvorah Yedidia Inok, Yedidia Zelig ben Ashira Rachel, Moshe Meir ben Hana, Hana Sarah bat Devorah, Shlomo Pinchas ben Sheina Fisha, Mordechai David ben Leah, Moshe ben Devorah, Be'ezrat Hashem, Refuah Shlema, to all of those that need help, Be'ezrat Hashem, Refuah Shlema to all of them. Now I'm gonna mute everyone. Hilton, what's your father's name, Hilton? Hilton?
My father.
Yeah, because you have a yard site for your dad, no? Hilton? Yeah?
I'm muted.
No,
Can you
what's
hear
your
me now?
I can hear you. What's your father's name? Because he
I'm
has side.
Tzvi Reb Chaim HaKohen.
Tzvi ben Chaim.
Tzvi Reb Chaim HaKohen.
Okay. והשיעור יהיה לעילוי נשמת צבי בן חיים הכהן, that have a yard site today, am I right?
Today, yeah.
Okay, please
Thanks,
God.
Dave.
Okay, I'm I'm muting everyone now. So, Rabotai, I'm
Thanks,
muting
David.
everyone. יישר כוח. Okay, so בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. The subject of the shiur is Korban Pesach. What do we know about Korban Pesach? As you all know, Korban Pesach is a korban that actually the Torah tells us about it. But what is it? Not many of us know what is Korban Pesach, and today, Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll learn what is Korban Hapesach, what they used to do with this Korban. We'll try to understand a little bit about this Korban. Okay, so first of all, where is the source for that Korban? The source for that Korban actually come from our Holy Torah. The Torah tells us in Sefer Vayikra, in Parashat Emor, in chapter 21, verse 15, it says like this, וספרתם לכם ממחרת השבת, מיום אביאכם את עומר התנופה, 7 שבתות תמימות תהיינה. What does it mean? Hazal tell us that number one, that you should count ממחרת השבת. From the end of the Shabbat, the following day of the Shabbos, you should bring the Omer HaTenufa, the sacrifice of the Tenufa, and then you should count 7 complete weeks. That means that you must count for 7 weeks. But what does that mean? Does that mean that the counting only or the Korban only? What's happening here? That's the question. So first of all, let's put everything in order. Hazal in a Gemara in Masechet Menachot in page 65, folio 2. Hazal taught us from that it says Mimaharat Shabbat referring to Hag HaPesach. Mimaharat Shabbat, the following days, it's the first day of Hag HaPesach. That means on the 16th of Nisan, that's the first day of Hol HaMoed, we should start counting the Omer. And not only counting the Omer, we should bring what? We should bring the sacrifice of the Omer. What is the sacrifice of the Omer? What is it? So the sacrifice of the Omer, first of all, it was one of the sacrifices that the public used to bring to Bet HaMikdash. Okay, and it used to be sacrificed on a 16th of Nisan, and it used to be made from barley. We'll explain just now how it used to be made. Okay, and the main idea of that korban that used to come, it's to allow us to eat the Tvuah Hadasha. Tvuah Hadasha, it's the new grain, okay, of wheat. What happened? In a time that Bet HaMikdash was exist, Bnei Israel used to prepare a special field next to Jerusalem, outside the wall of Jerusalem. And that field, they used to divide it to 2. A half part of the field, okay, they used to plant barley. And the other part of the field, they used to leave it empty. And why is it? Because that every year they do rotation of the crops, they call it. Okay, what does it do? That the half part that stay empty will get string, so the following year that you plant on it, that the crops will come much better, much stronger, much healthier. And that's what they used to do, that's what they used to do with that field. That means that they used to take a big field, divide it to 2, and they used to plant barley on one half of that field, okay? And then they used to harvest it. What it means they used to harvest it, they take that field, and with that field that they plant the barley, they used to harvest it, and from that they used to take asirit haifa. What it means asirit haifa? It's 1 kilo, 560 grams. I repeat, asirit haifa, 1 kilo, 560 grams of barley, okay? And that used to be done and the night of the 16th of Nisan. That means straight in Motzei Pesach, as the Pesach finish, as start the first night or the first day of Hol HaMoed, they used to go to the field and they used to tie a knot around asirit haifa, and they used to harvest it. They used to take the barley while they're green. It's very important to understand that. They used to take the barley while they're green, and after that they used to bring it to Bet HaMikdash. In Bet HaMikdash, they used to roast it on a copper pan. It had to be copper pan, okay? The work have to be done, it was a work of art. the work have to be done with special way. Not everyone can do it. So they used to bring it to the Kohanim in Bet HaMikdash, and the Kohanim in Bet HaMikdash used to roast it on a special copper pan, okay? After they make sure that those grain of barley got dry, you have to understand they have to get dry, they used to ground them in a mold, okay? And then after that, they used to sieve them 13 times, 13 times they used to sieve it until they grate a very fine flour from it, what we call it semolina. Semolina in English, they call it, okay? After that, what they used to do with that, they used to wave it also 13 times. That means that they used to wave the Korban 13 times. And that's why it said earlier in a pasuk that we read, Ve'vitem et Omer HaTenufa. Omer is a Korban that called Korban HaOmer, that made from barley, and they used to wave it 13 times. So that's how they used to make the Korban HaOmer. Now we're going to touch different things. Why did they used to wave it? Sorry, before I continue. So that Korban, part of it used to be brought to they used to sacrifice on the altar. The rest, the Kohanim used to eat it. And only after they used to sacrifice it on a Mizbeach, then Bnei Israel can eat from the new grain of the wheat, from the new grain of the barley or the wheat, whatever they want. That means that's what we call today Tvu'ah Hadasha, or in English, that you should eat Yoshen, but people call Yoshen, that it's before the 16th of Nisan, because after the 16th of Nisan, everything become, we're allowed to eat from the new grain of the wheat, or the new grain of the barley, Hameshet Minei Dagan, the 5 species. Now, we say that they used to wave the Korban HaOmer. Why do they have to wave it? And they have to wave it, we said 13 times. What is it so important that they used to wave that special Korban 13 times? So the Mefarshim explained that the main reason behind that it used to be waved 13 times, because 13 actually the number 13 symbol the evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara that a person have in himself. And at the same, like a child, until he turned 13, the bar mitzvah, the evil inclination doesn't leave him. Chazal explained that from the age of 13, that the person become an adult and he become bar mitzvah, that is obligation for the mitzvah, slowly, gradually, the evil inclination leave him. He have less and less and less. As he grow, as he get older, the evil inclination move from him. That means it's come to teach us that we have to prepare ourselves towards the big day. What is the big day? The big holy day? That's Yom Matan Torah. Yom Matan Torah is Chag HaShavuot, as you all know. That means that we should cancel the evil inclination that is inside us, okay? We must cancel it. That we will reach on the 49 days, okay? By the end of the 49 days, we reach to the Chag HaShavuot while we pure and while we holy. So that's the main idea behind it. That means that waving up the Korban up in the air come to teach us that the idea behind it is that we should work and we should conquer the evil inclination that there is on us. And each one know whatever he have to work, whatever ways his difficulty. The second question that we should ask is why dafka that korban made from barley and not from wheat? And we all know that barley is a food that usually been feeding the animal. It's a food that the animal eat. Chazal explained until Bnei Israel didn't receive the Holy Torah on Mount Sinai, a matter of fact, they used to look exactly, or they behave exactly like animal. What the difference? The animal eat, a human being eat. The animal drink, the human being drink. The animal sleep, the human being sleep. So what's the difference? Chazal say that the main reason that we bring in Pesach that kind of a Korban, that because until we didn't receive the Holy Torah, we look exactly like an animal. What's the difference between us and the animal? Because the word Torah is a manual. And when we received our Holy Torah, okay, in Shavuot, then we bring a different Korban, Korban Shti Alechem, that make from flour, from much fine wheat, much better quality of bread. So it's come to tell you, number one, the one idea is that until we didn't receive the Torah, okay, until we didn't receive the Torah, we was exactly like an animal. And that's why we're doing it on Pesach, because in Pesach, we become a free nation, but we didn't receive our Holy Torah. Another idea, the same like we explained, but the only difference between us is that we have to understand that the idea behind all of it, it's come to teach us that people that although that if they receive the Torah, now that we receive the Torah, but if they don't study Torah and they don't keep mitzvot and they don't do mitzvot and ma'asim tovim, there's no difference between them and the animal. Because that you got the Sefer Torah, but if you don't follow that menu, so what's the use? What's going to teach you derech eretz? What's going to teach you how to behave ben adam lahavero, ben adam lamakom, between man and Almighty, between man and his fellow friend, how to behave, how not to embarrass friend, how to work on your character trait, for example, person that have a character trait of anger, how to control it. A person that have the character trait of stinginess, how to work on that. To understand all of those, our Torah teaches us. Not only that the Torah teaches the most important, to work on one very important character trait, that's the humbleness, okay, and modesty that every person have to have. How to conquer the arrogancy and the proudness that everyone wants. Not only that, we'll see that it's come to teach us something very important. It's come to teach us emunah, that Korban. We'll see now how's it connecting to emunah. Okay, now we're going to reach the reason behind that mitzvah, and that we're going to get to emunah. So the Gemara in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, you'll excuse me for 1 second, I need to drink. The Gemara in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, in page 16, folio 1. Right at the top of the page, right on the top, Hazal tell us like this: Bepesach nidonim ala tevuah. What does it mean? That in a festival of Pesach, all the world get judged about the wheat. We have to understand why dafka wheat Hazal use. The Mefarshim explain like this. The Mefarshim saying that the word wheat that Hazal used in the Gemara, for the simple reason is because in their time, that was the main source of income, because everyone was used to work on the ground. Okay, today it's different. But basically what it's come to teach us, that in Pesach we get judged about how much money we would make. And Rabbi Yehuda in a Gemara there, bringing in the name of Rabbi Akiva, one of the ideas that he said, that the main reason that we bring Korban Pesach, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Bnei Israel, listen to that, Haviu lefanai et Korban HaOmer, bring in front of me, that means bring the Korban HaOmer, bring the sacrifice of the Omer, כדי שתתברך התבואה שבשדה, that you'll have a blessing and abundance with the grain of the wheat. That's on pshat of the dvarim, but we have to understand. So Rashi HaKadosh, Rashi Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, he born in a city of Troyes in the north of France 981 years ago. And in his commentary on the Gemara, on the side, he bring and he explain what Rabbi Akiva said. He said that we all know that in Rosh Hashanah, a person gets judged how much money he will make. So how come that you come and telling me here that we get judged also, but already in Rosh Hashanah I've been judged how much money I will receive. So Rashi HaKadosh explained Rabbi Yehuda, the words of Rabbi Yehuda. And he said like this. He said that what Rabbi Yehuda tried to tell us, Nachon, that on Rosh Hashanah, every person gets judged how much money he will receive from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what he will make this year. But it's come to teach you that on Pesach, a person gets judged how much profit he will make. That means in Rosh Hashanah, it will be the gross amount of money that a person will receive. He will receive $20 million, please God, for every Jew. Okay. But in Pesach, it will be judged what will be the net income from that 20 million. So say Rabbi Yehuda in the Gemara, HaKadosh Baruch Hu specifically asked us to bring that Korban. Why? That if you bring that Korban, I will make sure that your net profit going to be so high and will be abundance. That means that on Pesach, the Jewish people get judged what will be the net income from what been judged to receive in Rosh Hashanah. Okay, what is the idea behind it? The secret behind it, and Rabotai, and that's the secret that we have to understand, that it all speak about Emunah. What is the Emunah? The idea behind it is Emunah, that everyone have to understand that it's not how much hard you work, how much early you go to work, or how much late you stay to work. It's the Emunah that you have to understand that everything that you have and everything that you receive is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means the Korban HaOmer come to teach us something very important. Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That if you want abundance, you have to understand that the profit, the net profit, is only from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because people can earn 100 million, but lo aleinu, if they have every minute different things broke, nothing gonna left with this money. Why? Because they have to spend money fixing it. So the net income that left for you, okay, that's what's count. That means the abundance that will be from that gross that HaKadosh Baruch Hu judged for us in Rosh Hashanah, been judged only when? On Pesach. That was Pesach. That means what will be the net income from that gross? By that we davening, by that we praying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's, and believing that everything from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that can improve the abundance on us. Now, I would like to move to a different level on that Korban. What is the importance of counting? We say that it says, "Usfartem lachem mimaharat Shabbat sheva Shabbatot temimot tihiyena." So let's see what it says. So in a time that Bet HaMikdash was exist, it was a positive command from the Torah to count the 7 weeks. But Ador Hazal today still constitute for us to continue and count Shfirat HaOmer, because according to some poskim, today it's still a positive command from the Torah Shfirat HaOmer. Although most of the poskim agree that it's not, because we don't have Korban HaOmer. But listen to what Hazal in Midrash Vayikra Rabbah explain. Our sages in Midrash Vayikra Rabbah on Parashat Emor, listen what they say. Le'olam, it means forever. Al tiyeh mitzvat ha'omer kala be'enecha, שבזכות מצוות העומר זכה אברהם אבינו לירש את ארץ כנען. What does it mean? That you must never be light-headed about this simple mitzvah, that easy mitzvah of counting of the Omer. What does it mean, light-headed? It's not important, forget about it. It's an old thing. What am I counting? I know I have a calendar. No, don't be light-headed about this mitzvah. Why? Listen what Hazal say. שבזכות מצוות העומר, in the merit of that mitzvah, Avraham Avinu merit to inherit the land of Eretz Canaan. Eretz Canaan, it's Eretz Israel. Where do you learn that in that mitzvah he inherited? Shene'emar ve'ata beriti tishmor, and you, my covenant, you shall keep. What it mean, covenant? There is two different explanations. One covenant is that referring to what Avraham Avinu done is the Brit Milah, the circumcision. That Avraham Avinu done, he was the first man to done circumcision. So, by the command of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, obviously. But there, Chazal says, Ve'ata et briti tishmor, that means that Avraham Avinu and all our forefathers used to keep all the mitzvot. In the merit of Korban HaOmer and counting of the Omer, the merit Avraham Avinu to inherit the land of Eretz Mitzrayim. It's come to tell you that there is a covenant between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What is the covenant of us of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? That when we counting of the Omer, it's a covenant for us, number one, to inherit Eretz Israel, the same like Avraham Avinu. But it is the secret that we explained earlier, that hiding behind it, that it's come to teach us Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means that the person have to believe that all the prosperity that he have and all the abundance that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bringing him, it's not because he work hard. There's many people that work hard. There's many people that work overtime, and I don't see any brocha in their money. It's come to tell you it's because HaKadosh Baruch Hu bringing you that abundance. The abundance that you have, the brocha that you have, it's all come from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means, if we're going to put it in proportion, it's come to tell you it's not how much money you're making, it's how much blessing you have and the money that HaKadosh Baruch Hu give you. That means the net income means the blessing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu give you on your money. That's the secret behind Korban HaOmer, to believe that everything is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I would like to move to a different level now. I'm going to go to Baal HaHafla'ah. Baal HaHafla'ah, it's Rabbi Pinchas Levy Horowitz. He born in Galicia around 290 years ago. And he said like this, Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer. Listen to that carefully, Rabotai. Metzila et HaOmer ota, a person that counts Sfirat HaOmer, it's actually a remedy and protection for the human being. From what? Mimahalot, from sickness, kishufim, any witchcrafting, ain hara, the evil eye, okay? Enemies, if you have enemies, or people that hate him, okay? Magefot, that means plagues, and today we have the plagues, COVID-19, the corona. So there is a remedy, that person that count, that means it's a premise from Baal HaHafla'ah, Rabbi Yehoshua Levi Horowitz. Baal HaHafla'ah, it's not a simple thing. And he promised us, a person that count the Omer, and count it in sequence, not count today, tomorrow he forget, the following day he remember. No, when you count it in sequence, what it means sequence? Temimot. That means every day, you don't forget to count. Okay, it's a remedy that it will save us from all different kind of troubles. Any kind of troubles, there's a guarantee for it. It's the counting of the Omer. I would like to stop here before I continue with the halachot. If anyone have any question, so please, you can ask now. You can unmute and ask any question, and then I'm going to start, Rabotai, with some halachot regarding the Omer. That I think I summarized maybe 13 or 14 halachot, short halachot, but I think with that I actually summarized most of them, not all of them, most of them, to make it easier for us to understand the law regarding Sfirat HaOmer. If anyone have any question, please unmute and ask. If not, then we'll continue with the show. No question. Okay, let's continue. So I'm going to bring the first halacha that I'm going to bring in the name of the Rashba. The Rashba was Rabbi Shlomo ben Aderet. He was from the Rishonim, okay, from the first. He born in a city of Barcelona in Spain around 791 years ago. And he explained why we don't say Birkat Shehiyanu on Sfirat HaOmer. Because on the second day, on the night of the second day in the Diaspora, we start counting the Omer. And we know that before anything that we do, we usually say Birkat Shehiyanu v'kiyimanu v'gi'anu lazeman hazeh. Okay? And if you look carefully, also on Shvi'i Shel Pesach, we didn't mention Shehiyanu v'kiyimanu v'gi'anu lazeman hazeh. Okay? Why is that? So he explained like this. He explained the main reason that we don't say Shehiyanu on Sfirat HaOmer, because only on a mitzvah that there is happiness and joys, we say Shehiyanu. For example, when we say Shehiyanu al mitzvat sukkah, al mitzvat lulav, shofar, those things we say Shehiyanu. But Sfirat HaOmer, actually, it's something said. Why? Because when we counting the Omer, we actually remembering that Bet HaMikdash is not exist. And we didn't merit to bring that sacrifice of that called Korban Omer, okay? Therefore, we don't say Birkat Shehiyanu. Okay? And also, if you look in the end of the blessed, the end of the counting of the Omer, what did we say? Harahaman yivneh Bet HaMikdash. We're asking that the Almighty should build Bet HaMikdash. So how we can say Shehiyanu, because Bet HaMikdash not exist? That's the Rashba. The Radbaz. Who was the Radbaz? The Radbaz was Rabbi David ben Zimra. He born in Spain 542 years ago, plus minus. Okay, and he explained that the main reason that we don't say Shehiyanu, because Sfirat HaOmer, it's a matter of fact, just the beginning to prepare us to receive the holy day. What is the holy day? That's Hag HaShavuot. Hag HaShavuot is the festival that received the Torah. So that we're counting, how we can say Shehiyanu? Because the cherry on the top, when is it happen? On the 50th days. And that's the day that we receive the Torah. And he said, if you look carefully on that day, in the end of the 49 days that you count, okay, then you say Shehiyanu. Then you say the Birkat Shehiyanu. Why? Because on that day you receive the Torah. And then you can say Shehiyanu, not before. Okay? I mentioned earlier, before I forget, that also on Shvi'i Shel Pesach, we don't say Shehiyanu. Why? Because Shvi'i Shel Pesach is just a continuation of Pesach. And Birkat Shehiyanu, we say on the night of Pesach. So how I can say again? I can't say it again. Okay. Now, we're going to start with some of the law of Birkat HaOmer, Sfirat HaOmer. Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer, tzricha liyot ba'amida. That means, Hazal explained, that the counting of the Omer, when a person counted, should be while he's standing up. Only obviously if he's a sick person or he's an old person, that it's very, very difficult for him to stood up, then there is a leniency to counting while he's sit. Where do we learn that the counting of the Omer should be while you're standing up? So Hazal bring in the verse in Sefer Dvarim, in Parashat Re'eh, chapter 16, verse 9. There Hazal say, Me'ahel harmesh bakama. What it means, Me'ahel harmesh bakama? In simple English, that when you start seeing the wheat standing up, okay, Hazal come and say, Al tumar bakama ela bekoma. That means when you see the wheat standing up and growing up straight, it's come to teach you that when you say the blessing of the Omer, you also should say it while standing up. So from here we learn the halacha that the blessing of the Omer should be while a person standing up. Again, if a person's sick or not feeling well, or is an old person, or a person that is a handicap and he can't stand up for some reason, for whatever reason, okay, he can count the Omer while he's sitting. There is a leniency to us. Sorry, my throat is just dry. What happens if a person to count the Omer at night? If he remember during the day and he count during the day the Omer, he must count without a brocha. If he remember to count during the day, the counting of the night, the following night, he can continue with the brocha. That night, because he counted in the day, at night, he can count with the brocha and continue counting with the brocha. Okay, what's happened if a person forgot to count at night and during the day also forgot to count? He must continue counting, but without a brocha. Why? Because it said temimoti yena. That means that the counting of the Omer should be sequence. What it means, sequence with a brocha. But because you missed one complete day, 24 hours, that means you missed the night and you missed the day, it's not sequence anymore. You're obligated to continue counting, but without a brocha. If a person asks his fellow friend, come and ask you, what is the counting today for the Omer? And it just before counting of the Omer. So you can't tell him that tonight going to be so-and-so, because then you miss the brocha yourself. Rather tell him yesterday was that amount. And he automatically will work it out what will be the counting today. Okay, there is a minhag, and it's a very good minhag, that in Shahrit, in a davening of Shahrit, after everyone finished, is the Hazan or the whoever in charge about the minyan must remind everyone the counting of the Omer. Why is it? That if people forget to count at night, and now you remind them to count, they can continue counting with the brocha. So from here we see something very, very important. We see that that custom to count in the morning in a minyan, in a shul or in a congregation, wherever it is, as long as there is a minyan and the person that remind everyone to count in the morning, what was the count? Although that you remind them without a brocha, that will help those that might forget to count previous night to continue counting with the brocha. Okay, now I'm going to move to a different halacha. If a person count, but he make a mistake, what it mean to make a mistake? He count the weeks wrong, but the days he count them correct. Me'ikar halacha, okay, he can continue in counting with the brocha. Continue counting with the brocha. So what do you learn from here? We learn from here that the most important is the counting of the day, not the weeks. That means the counting of the day he count properly. The weeks he make mistake, okay, that's not right. But at also he can continue and counting with the brocha. Okay, what happens if a person have a doubt and is not sure what's the day of the counting today? And not only that, he doesn't have any way to find out what is the day, what is the number of the day today. That means you have no way to find out what's the number. Should he say should he count? He must count. The problem is that he must not count with a brocha. But if he found out the following day that the counting that he count, it was the correct counting, he can continue and counting with a brocha. For example, tonight the counting, you all know what was the counting tonight, okay? It was 9 of La Omer, okay? What's happening? That a person wasn't sure what's the counting tonight. And he didn't know, but he said to himself, I think it's 9, and he counted 9 without a brocha. And tomorrow morning, he asked, or he found out, he looked at the calendar, whatever the case is, and he found that he counted the correct number of days. He can continue on counting with a brocha. Okay, what's happened now? Another question, another halakha. If a person have a doubt that if he counted night, the appropriate number, he doesn't remember. He forgot. What did I count last night? I'm not sure. Did I count 2? Did I count 1? I'm not sure. What did I count? You know? Okay. So, and also during the day, he didn't remember. The following day, he forgot about it completely. What should he do? Can he continue counting with the brocha or without? So the lechatchila, it shouldn't be done. But if there is a case like this, okay, there is opinion that he can continue and counting with the brocha from now on. How? Although that he doesn't remember what he counts. It's because there is sfek sfeka. What it means, sfek sfeka. There is here 2 sfekot, 2 doubt. Sfek sfeka, 2 doubt. So what is the first sfek sfeka? The first sfek sfeka that we have to count, first of all, maybe Sfirat HaOmer that we're counting, okay? It's a mitzvah from the Torah, okay? The second sfek sfeka that we have, maybe he count the right day. Or maybe that what we're saying, that the counting of the Omer, it might all night, okay? And it's a one mitzvah by himself. And the following day, it's a different mitzvah. That means that every day is a mitzvah by himself. So because there is sfeka, we're saying that there is 2 doubt, he can continue, although that he doesn't remember what he counted, he can continue in counting with the brocha. Now, another thing, there is a custom, the custom that during the period of the Omer, that's mean from the beginning of Pesach until Lamed Gimel Ba'omer, the 33 days of the Omer, that we should not have a haircut. Shaving is a minhag again, that people should not shave, but there is a lot of leniency about it. I'll get to it if you want later on, you'll ask me, okay? That means that during that time, that people should not have a haircut until Lamed Gimel Ba'omer. Ado, Lamed Gimel Ba'omer is the 33 days. That's for Ashkenazim. The Sfaradim are more strict about it, and they say that you should have a haircut only on the 34 days of the Omer. Why? Because they say that the student of Rabbi Akiva die when? They stop dying on the 34 of the Omer. Okay? They're more strict about it. When it's come also to wedding and listening to music, we also speak about it. Although that in Lag Ba'omer, okay, when it's come to wedding, the Ashkenazim more lenient, and they said that you can get married on Lamed Gimel Ba'omer, okay? The Sephardim more strict about it, and they say on Lamed Dalet Ba'omer. When it's come to engagement is completely different law. The engagement, a person allowed to get engaged even during the Omer. The Magen Avraham brought that leniency. And he said, where did we hear that leniency? Where is that leniency come? And he said, that leniency come from the leniency that we have to get engaged earlier in the Omer. He bringing it from Shema Yagdimenu Acher. What it means, Shema Yagdimenu Acher? He explained that it might someone else come and see this woman, because you delayed, he offered her to engage to her, and he become before you, and you're gonna lose the color. So he said that you're allowed to do the vote you're allowed to do all the preparation and to get engaged, only engaged during the Omer. Shema yakdimeno acher. Okay, what is the din of the woman? So the Shulchan Aruch pasken that all of that cutting, having a haircut and etc., that's only for men, have nothing to do with the woman. I know that there is some mahmirim and say that also women, but why to make strict on a woman? This is not an obligation for the woman. Another minhag that there is, and that's for the woman, that the woman don't do any work from sunset until the following day. And that they start from the beginning of the Sfira until Atzeret. Until Atzeret, Atzeret is Hag HaShavuot, that every night from sunset until sunrise, they don't do any work. Why? Why is that? Because they used to make all the shroud for the deceased, for the student of Rabbi Akiva. They used to sit and they used to sew the thing for the student, the shroud for the student of Rabbi Akiva. Therefore, we give them a leniency not to do any hard work in the evening. Okay, all of those symbol of mourning that we do during the time of the Omer came from the Gemara, Rabotai, in Masechet Yevamot in page 62, folio 2. And the reason for it is because that during those time, 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva died. Now, there's many people that made the mistake and compare those weeks of the Omer to the 3 weeks. It's completely different. Completely different. It's not the same. Here, if you need to buy thing for your house, you need to buy whatever you need to buy, fridge, you need to buy furniture and etc. There's no problem with that. The restriction that we have, it's not to, and it's a minhag. Okay, it's a minhag not to have a haircut, and also a minhag not to shave. Ado. Here I'm coming to the leniency of having a shave. There is many people that feel uncomfortable with the hair, it's very itchy. So if he can keep it from Friday to Friday and to shave in honor of Shabbat, yevorach. Okay? If he can keep it all the Lamed Gimel or Lamed Dalet days of the Omer, why not? Yevorach. But if person work for a company and the company doesn't really keen about it, that he doesn't look very nice, doesn't look shaved and clean, you have to rather do it on a Friday if you can. And if they also strict about that, then you shave. What can you do? You can't lose your job. Okay, now I'm going to give time for those of you that want to ask questions regarding the 3 weeks. I hope that I summarize everything. There's many more, but I summarized the most important halachot regarding Yemei HaOmer. Anyone want to ask question? Please unmute yourself and ask. Bechavod.
Hello, it's Anthony.
Okay. Shalom, Antonio.
What is the law of Yom HaAtzmaut, listening to music on Yom HaAtzmaut, which is on the Omer? You're not supposed to listen to music on Yom HaAtzmaut is in the Omer. And they listen to music on Yom HaAtzmaut.
Very good question.
Good question.
הרבנות הראשית לישראל, the chief rabbinical in Israel, paskin that in Yom HaAtzmaut, and I'll make a shiur about Hey Iyar. Yom HaAtzmaut is Hey Iyar, the day of Hey Iyar.
Yes.
Hey Iyar, I'm going to do shiur. I think that I've done it last year, but maybe I should repeat it just to remind us. Hey Iyar and the mystical. What is the mystical? That hiding behind Hey Iyar. But anyway, that's a different issue. So the rabbinical say that because, and also the Hafetz Chaim say, not the Hafetz Chaim, no, I forgot his name.
The Chazon Ish, maybe? Chazon Ish?
The Chazon Ish, Shirkoa. The Chazon Ish say that in Hey Iyar, HaKadosh Baruch Hu smiled to us. What does it mean, smile to us? just Ismail allowed us to have our own country. Yisher Koach, Dr. Les, that the Hazon Ish say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu smiled to us in Iyar, and he given us the day of independence. So the chief rabbinical in Israel said, because it's such a great miracle that after so many thousand years that we didn't have our own land, our own country, we got it back. Some people say that on that day to say Hallel with a brocha. Many of the poskim doesn't agree with the brocha. To say Hallel, nothing wrong. Most of the poskim agree that Hallel, okay, except some not. But most of the poskim agree to say Hallel. What is Hallel? It's a praising. And you sing it. So what difference does it make? So because Yom HaAtzmaut is a day of independence to the Jewish people after so many thousand years that we was in exile. Baruch Hashem, today we have our own country. So that's the leniency. You follow?
Yeah, thanks very much.
Pleasure. Yes, any
Rabbi
other
Levy?
question?
Rabbi
Sure.
Levy, just
Listen.
expand on what you just said there. If the Chazon Ish said that because HaKadosh Baruch Hu smiled on us, why do all the Gedolim, they don't say Hallel al Yom HaAtzmaut then?
So tell me who's the older Gedolim that you know?
The Godel
You
Adon
know-
today is of Moshe Sternbuch.
got
He does
only
not.
one. He does not. But they ask many of the Gedolim in Israel, for example, Rav Ovadia Yosef, should we say Hallel? Shouldn't we say Hallel? So here, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, and you know, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, he was a posek not only to the Sfaradim, it's wrong. Many of the Ashkenazim follow his psak halacha. And he say that in Yom HaAtzmaut, him himself used to say Hallel. He say without the brocha. Without a brocha. These are different if it's between a brocha or without a brocha. He said that Hallel you say on Yom HaAtzmaut, and him himself in his shul, in his home, at his own house. Okay, they used to say Hallel in Yom HaAtzmaut, and I have the video that he said that we should thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for all of those miracles that happened to us on Yom HaAtzmaut.
Rav Chaim Kanievsky, he says Hallel.
I don't know. I never davened with him. I don't know. But I don't know if Rabbi Sternbuch doesn't say without
He
a
doesn't.
brocha. Just confirm.
He doesn't.
Are you
I
sure?
confirm.
Okay.
I know
Okay.
factually.
But Rav, can I say something?
Okay.
I was in Rav Sternbuch's home,
Sure.
and Rav Sternbuch had a very close kesher with Rav Ovadia Yosef. They both lived in Hanoth, but they had a very close kesher as well.
That's-
Very close kesher. And what's very interesting, Rav Kahneman from Ponovich, and Ponovich used to be one of the, and it still is one of the top yeshivas in the world. So on Yom HaAtzmaut, Rav Kahneman instituted that they raise the Israeli flag. So the Israeli flag in Bnei Brak is on Yeshivat Ponovich, and that's still this very day. It'll be on this Yom HaAtzmaut, and people went to Rav Kahneman and said, "How come? How come you're putting the Israeli flag on Yom HaAtzmaut?" They said, "When we were in Ponovich in Lita in Lithuania, we had to raise the Lithuanian flag. Here we're in our own country. How much more so we should be so proud to raise our own flag?" And to this very day, Ponovich has the Israeli flag flying over one of the greatest yeshivas in Israel, in the world, on Yom HaAtzmaut.
Nachon. And just to add up that Rabbi Kahneman, Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Livracha, that was the Rosh Yeshiva of Ponovich, like you mentioned, he not only constitute just to put the flag on the top on Yom HaAtzmaut. When people ask him, he say that not only because the flag in Europe was on, whatever it was, he said because all the miracle that we have in Yom HaAtzmaut that happened to the Jewish people. Thanks HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we to receive after so many thousands of years to reach, to go back to the land of Eretz Israel and to settle it. Shikoah, nachon. Mark, you wanted to ask a question. Mark, sorry
I was just wondering if one just totally forgets what day it is. For whatever reason, he hasn't a clue what day it is. What does he count?
So that's what I say. He rather count without a brocha.
No, but count what? He doesn't know what day it is. If it's the 5th or the 8th or the 10th or the...
That's completely...
He's just forgotten, exactly forgotten, went out of his head, doesn't know what day it is. How does he count?
If he can't count at night, rather don't count at night, he wait for during the day, because in a day he can count again without a brocha. That means that he have 24 hours to find out.
Okay, now if he's in the middle of the, if he's in the middle of the desert and he can't find out, right? How does he count? What does he count? He's going to be wrong.
Can't count. He can count, but he can't count.
No, but it's, he can't count the wrong numbers.
You know what is bracha lebatala?
Of course, of course.
Yeah. So we don't want to have bracha lebatala, so he can't count with a brocha. He doesn't know the day. Then he's a uber chochem. You know that you're going to a trip to the Karoo Desert, or you're going to whatever is it.
What, sometimes we get a little bit able bottle when we get older, you know.
Baruch Hashem. But one thing you're not going to forget. Today, you're not going to forget. So today, Akadosh Baruch Hu given us internet, given us cell smartphone, you know. Not everyone, even me, that we don't know about smartphone. Yeah, but Baruch Hashem, we all know today that there is a way to find out. You can always pick up a phone. Even you and me, that we don't know nothing about smartphone, that we hardly know how to send a message. But we can dial the number and say, listen, Chaim Yankel, Chaim Shmerel, what is the date today of the counting of the Omer? Would you mind looking at your calendar and let me know? It will be possible. There's 24 hours you can find. You know, that's the solution. But if you ask the bracha, he must not count. Definitely not at night. And during the day, he should find out, and then he should count without a bracha.
Yeah.
Another question, Rabotai.
Rav, yes. Rav, it's Stephen Kabatsnik.
How are you, Stephen?
Thank God, Baruch Hashem.
Wakey, Stephen. Wakey.
Yeah, wakey. Rav, can you explain the whole thing of the issue of Yoshvan flour and Chodesh flour again? I didn't quite get it.
Okay. Let me explain. So we have a problem between Hadash and Yashan. What is Yashan? Yashan is it's a grain that never been planted or never been grown on Tu Bishvat. So we're waiting for that grain that been planted, okay, and the wheat that coming out to be harvested only after the first, okay, the first night after Pesach that you bring the Korban Omer. And that would allow to harvest that grain. You follow, Stephen?
Yeah.
And to you. You follow?
Yeah, so you're waiting for that grain, you're waiting to harvest that grain the first day after Pesach, right?
Maybe I should make a proper shiur to explain what is Tvu'ah Hadasha.
So you're breaking up, bro.
What is new grain and what is Tvu'ah Yashana, what is the old grain. So then everyone will understand when they say to them Yoshen, what is Yoshen? You know what I'm saying? You follow what I'm saying? Maybe I should make a show and it will be easier for everyone to understand, Be'ezrat Hashem.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, sorry, you're breaking up, Robert. It's difficult to hear.
I'm saying I'll make a show about it to explain it more properly, what it means Tvu'ah Hadasha and Tvu'ah Yashana Be'ezrat Hashem, Bli Neder. I'll make a proper show about it.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Be'ezrat Hashem. Any other question, Rabotai, regarding the Omer? Okay. Any question? No. So I would like to take the opportunity to wish all of you a beautiful week. You have a long weekend. Baruch Hashem, we have a long weekend. We can charge our batteries. We have a beautiful festival of Pesach. Now we're moving our head from one festival to another festival, now in a marathon to receive and to reach to the holy day, that's Hag HaShavuot. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have mercy on all Amo Israel, and he will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our days, and then we receive the Torah from our Mashiach, and we can celebrate in Bet HaMikdash, and we'll see Mashiach speedily in our days, and all the Jewish people can celebrate in Yerushalayim and bring sacrifice. Amen. Ken Yehi Ratzon. To wish
Amen.
all of you a great week, a great night. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should meet on Thursday, this coming Thursday, and we'll speak about Parashat HaShavua this Thursday. And I mean,
Rav, thank you.
well, all the best. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Rav. Night, night.
Rav.
Bye.
Bye, Rabbi.
Bye. All the best. Good night.
Yeah, thank you.